Hey, hey, happy Thursday, y'all. You're listening to MarceyLynn once again on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live downtown. Yes, I'm downtown today in New Haven. We're streaming live on TuneIn Radio. You can go to newhavenindependent.org, and you can also go to Facebook and look up New Haven Independent and see me live as well. How's everybody's week been? I'm hoping wonderful. Mine's been better than fantastic. And my guest today is running a little bit behind. Unfortunately, she had some sleeping issues last night. But, you know, I can imagine coming to New England from Senegal. She's got some issues with the cold. So when she gets on, I will be asking her the questions. In the interim, I'm going to give you a little bit about myself. For those of you that may not know me, you may know me from the show that I had with Jose, the morning show. But who is MarceyLynn? MarceyLynn is a native of Hamden, but New Hamden and New Haven are the same. So keep in mind that this show is meant for us to lift up and encourage the people in our specific community that are doing things that we may not know. So it looks like the brilliant and beautiful Hanan Hameen has joined us. Hi, Hanan.
Hi, Marcy.
Hi.
How are you?
I am wonderful. It's so good to see your face. I love to see your
Thank
face.
you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. You're just brilliant. So I know you, and I want the others to know you. So I'm going to act like I don't know you today. So
Okay.
today I need you to tell me who you are. So,
Okay,
Hanan.
so for those who do not know me, I'm Hanan Hameen. I am a New York native by way of New Haven. My parents are Iman Hameen, also known as Robin Roper, to the 1970 Hill House crew.
All right.
and the Howard University crew.
Mm-hmm.
And my father is Jesse Cheese Hameen. We are Kilpatricks.
Mm-hmm.
So many of you here in New Haven know the Kilpatricks,
Yes,
Davis,
yes.
Gardwood, Edwards, and it goes on and on and on.
Yes.
But I'm a Kilpatrick. I'm actually the firstborn Hameen. My brothers were born Kilpatrick. I'm the first one who has Hameen on their birth certificate.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. See, yes. I'm learning stuff already. See, you're starting already. Education.
Yes. And my parents, they met and married in New Haven and moved to New York because my father, being a world-renowned jazz musician, unfortunately, New Haven is a very supportive place, but we all know when it comes to the arts, most people end up having to go, to New York or other places, and then we're able to come back. Which is a whole other conversation.
Yes.
Which they're doing a great job now of working on that. I'm very proud of what the city is doing in that regard. Definitely. But because of that, my parents moved to New York. So me and my brothers, we were raised in New York. Mm-hmm. So that's how I got to the Bronx. Mm-hmm. And my family came to New Haven from the Great Migration. So we've been here for a very, very, very long time.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So... I just love, my nephew, CJ, who you taught, is at Howard now. So it's amazing that he's there. Know? And, oh man, the whole bison thing. He's got the baby bison, jersey and everything else. But you are just a beautiful dancer and drummer. And your aura just brings peace when you come around us, because we know you're going to bring us not only entertainment, but you're going to bring a beautiful spirit. So with your dancing and drumming, what got you into that? Like, what was that for you? What drove you to it, besides the fact that you have a musical family?
Okay, so besides that. So, that was my introduction. Mm-hmm. And actually, it's very interesting because my father's a drummer. my mother is a filmmaker,
Mm-hmm.
educator. She
Mm-hmm.
also was a dancer.
Mm-hmm.
She's co-founder. She was the co-founder of the Majorettes at Howard. And
Oh,
but what
wow.
but the reason why I started dancing was for health reasons
Mm.
because I was born pigeon-toed. You
Uh-oh.
know, my feet were all the way in, like
Just pigeon-toed. You don't have the knock
all
knee and pigeon-toed thing going on, did you? The
no,
knock.
not me, but I
Okay.
was
Yeah.
extremely pigeon-toed. I
Oh,
was
wow.
pigeon-toed to the point where I had those shoes, those
Oh.
hard shoes that
Mm-hmm.
had the bar
Mm-hmm.
connecting them,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
to keep my feet straight,
Oh,
because my
wow.
feet would just go in. I sat down,
Oh.
my mother said I would just flop and my feet would go
Oh,
in.
wow.
So I kind of started walking and dancing at the same time.
All right.
Um, because once they took the bars off,
Mm-hmm.
the shoes off, I was like, ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started dancing at 2. My mother put me in ballet because in ballet everything is turned out. So
Ah.
that's how I started formally dancing at
Mm-hmm.
2 years old. So from there, it was just a natural thing. It was something that just exuded out of me. And when I was 5, I started taking classes with Baba Olatunji.
Mm.
And then yeah, I was very blessed with the experiences that I had. And then also being in New York, I was
That's
able
amazing.
to dance. And this is, we're talking about the early 80s. Because so this is I was able to dance with the pioneers, and if
Mm-hmm.
not the pioneers themselves, with those who were taught by the pioneers.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, at age 7, I went to a dance school in the Bronx called Mind Builders,
Mm-hmm.
which is still in existence. And my African teacher there was Mama Wilhelmina Taylor,
Yes.
who is a pioneer dancer, who
Definitely.
was part of the Chuck Davis Dance Company and
Yes.
so many other
Yes.
companies and things that she has
These
done.
this is history.
So
You need to look these people up, you know.
yes, definitely.
Look these people up.
Definitely. And her drummer was Philip Spanky Williamson, who became
Wow.
my
Wait.
granddad. So, and he also comes from the same, same lineage. And,
Yes.
so
Yes.
I
Yes.
was
Yes.
with her from age 7. And she, oh my goodness, I have to tell you this story. I walked into her class.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I was 7 years old,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Mama Taylor throws me in the teen class with the most advanced dance you could ever do in your life.
And I'm sure you rocked it.
I did after I sat down and cried first. I was like, wait. I was like, wait,
No, you don't
wait.
want to. I don't
No.
want to do
I was
it.
like, wait a minute. And then she came, are you finished? And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, because I went and I sat down, I ate. She said, eat your food. You went, and then she said, you finished? I said, yeah.
Yes.
She said, get over there.
Mm-hmm.
I said, all right. But that's partly where my confidence comes from, to where whatever you throw at me, I'm just going to do it because I know I'm going to get it.
That's
So I'm
beautiful. So
grateful for her
yeah, it goes
for
into my
that.
next question too,
Yeah.
because your training experience, and it's amazing, the names that you're saying. I'm going, New York, New York. This is the '80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yes.
amazing because I'm thinking Alvin Ailey. I'm thinking all the,
Mm-hmm.
because those are the names that people know. But the names that you're mentioning are our history names. Those are the names that we need to know so we can know like the background of our dance specifically, not
Exactly.
just New Haven, but our dance even in New Haven stems from a
Yeah.
lot of those people that you mentioned. So
Yes. And Baba Chuck used to come to New Haven. He used to come to Bone Peters.
yes, yes.
So there is a connection there with New Haven was that.
Yeah, I'm
was
gonna have
that,
Elaine on to talk about Bowen Peters. I can't wait to do that. But
Yeah, that
so
was that
beyond
space.
that,
Mhm.
let's get into some of your training experience because
Mhm. Okay,
just
so
everything to
after
me.
after Mama Taylor
Mhm.
totally just put a battery in my back,
That
I
button
went.
energizer bunny.
Yes, I went to. So this kind of ties in with my education experience.
Okay.
But because of how my parents are, my mother being an educator and
Mhm.
also them being Pan-African Muslim,
Mhm.
so we're in New York, and New York is a very segregated place. People don't realize that.
Mhm.
And well, at least back then it was. It still kind of is, but you have gentrification now.
Mhm.
But back then you had your black neighborhoods, and when I say black, that included everybody. So you were either a black person with an accent.
Yeah.
Either you spoke Spanish, you came from the South, you from the Caribbean, you from
Yes.
but we all just said black.
Mhm.
There was no differentiation.
Yeah.
Right. So I had neighbors who were from Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, people from
Mhm.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Where my friends and my neighbors growing up.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying that because My brothers and I, we were homeschooled. Even though we went to school, we were homeschooled.
Okay.
And the first school that I went to from when I was two was a Afrocentric school
Oh,
for
wow.
early childhood. It was connected to City College because my mother was a film student at City College.
Hmm.
That's where she won her award.
Hmm.
And the school was started by Black scholars, Professor James Smalls, who
Yes.
people see a lot now in the media because he's part of
Yes, very much
Godfather
so.
of Harlem,
Hmm.
and he's been speaking out a lot of other things. And Dr. Geraldine Price, we call her Mama Jerry. So
Mm,
they started this school in 1981. So I was part of that first cohort when they revitalized the City College Child Development Center.
that's amazing.
So 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 being in that school, which is open classroom, the way they taught was totally different. Being
Hmm.
homeschooled at home from my mother, by the time I got to kindergarten, they wanted to put me in third grade. I was writing, doing math. I
Wow.
was reading whole books. So I like
Hmm.
when it came to story time in kindergarten,
Yeah,
I was reading the books to the class. I would sit on my teacher's lap and read the stories.
that's amazing. There's
And then
something
she
different
would
about
give me
homeschooling too.
right, and she would give me advanced work. I was in the class.
Hmm.
So then what happened was because the whole other issue, there's no gifted and talented programs in the Black communities.
Really?
So we had to be bused to the white schools. And this
Mm.
is part of the reason why I'm doing my doctoral research now on this topic, because that's an important topic
Yeah, it's very
to
important. Hmm.
yeah, to get more information on that whole gifted and talented piece. So I ended up being bused to the white schools. So I went to the white school for the intellectually gifted program in an Italian
Hmm.
neighborhood. I'm getting called the N word every day. I'm
Oh,
fighting, and they spitting in my food. They tried
yeah,
to jump me, like
yeah.
everything you could think
But
of.
at
So
the
I'm
same
just
time, do
fighting.
no wrong. So yeah,
Right,
yeah,
but no, I fought. I just didn't get suspended. It was
yeah,
self defense. Like
yeah.
I'm a fighter,
Yeah.
you know.
Hmm.
So my parents, always looking for something else, So that's why I was in all of these programs since I was young,
Yeah,
because they wanted something to supplement, so that way I knew who I was,
definitely.
and whenever somebody said something or misinformation came my way in school,
You could
especially
educate.
being in an all-white environment, right? I could either educate or at least I could defend my truth is. Like I know what answer they want,
Yeah,
but at least for myself, I wouldn't get brainwashed to not understand what's really happening
yeah.
and what the truth is. So I know, okay,
Yes.
this is your answer, but this is what the real answer is,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I'm
You knew
going to
the
pass this
genuine
test.
culture, so you were able to tell them, "Listen, let me teach you something," which is
Yes,
wonderful.
yes.
It's just
So
wonderful. Yeah.
so from there, I ended up leaving that school in fourth grade.
Mm-hmm.
And then my parents found a talented and gifted school, which is a specialized school in East Harlem
Mm-hmm.
that you had to take several tests, IQ tests, all of these things. So
Wow.
I tested into the school and then I ended up going there.
Mm-hmm.
And since it's gifted and talented, they had arts. So the dance company that I ended up in, they had a dance program in that school. So that's how I got connected with Mama Jewel Love,
Okay.
who um who went to connected to New Haven.
Yes,
Remember
very
her
connected.
drum and dance ensemble that just graced the stage for Juneteenth last year, and
Mm-hmm.
then before the pandemic, that's her company. So I was with
Yes.
her since I was 10 years old. So she gave me my pre-professional um um opportunity
Yeah.
because she was the assistant director of the dance company of the
Mm-hmm.
program.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in her class in fifth grade, somebody was supposed to do a solo. They got scared. They didn't go out. So I had that confidence.
There
I
you
went out. I
go.
did it. The drum
Mm-hmm.
playing, you're not supposed to leave the circle empty.
Mm-mm.
If it's empty, it's fair game. So I went
Yeah.
out there and I did it. So then,
That was
then
it.
afterwards,
Yeah.
that was it. So then
Yeah.
afterwards, she took me. She took me right to the company, and the rest was history. I was with her,
Beautiful.
ever since, all the way up until, lupus diagnosis. I was with
Yeah.
her, all of that time.
Yeah.
So through that program, I was exposed to a lot of, phenomenal dancers, dance
Mm-hmm.
teachers, teaching artists. That's how I connected with Robin Williams, who was a legendary Black
Oh,
ballerina
yes. Yes. Yes.
who
Yes.
started
Yes.
Uptown Dance Academy, where I began teaching straight out of high
Yeah.
school, and so where my fabulous dancers that I was bringing up, all
Mm-hmm.
my ballerinas and everybody, they came from that school. Those are students that I trained there. So it's just an ongoing circle.
Yeah.
But when I was in this program,
Uh-huh.
so me, I was the top of the younger kids
Yes.
and the bottom of the older kids. So I was always in rehearsal because I had to learn the advanced stuff and I had to learn the beginning stuff, intermediate, everything. Right. So being that I was in that position on my off time, when like if one group was doing something and I'm
Yes.
over here,
Mm-hmm.
I would sit with Spanky because Spanky also drummed for the dance
Drums.
company.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I got my African drumming training
Okay.
in rehearsal because
From
I wanted to know the rhythms we dance to. So I'm like, well, show me this rhythm. What's this break? Explain this to me. So that's how
gets you
I
into the
didn't have
music.
any
Yes.
classes.
Mm-hmm.
It was in between what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
He took me to the side, embraced me. He saw, that I had a talent. Of course, he knew who, my father was.
Yeah.
So that's how I started African drumming
Very
from,
natural.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
very, very
Very
natural.
natural.
So from this program is just I just met so many different artists, so many
Mm-hmm.
different teachers, and then when I because I ended up changing, so I went to like 8 different schools by the time I got to 10th grade.
Wow. 8.
Um, yes,
But
because
that's all
it was either
different.
they were either not challenging or I was dealing with racism
There were so many challenges, and I'm glad
a
that you were
lot.
able to defeat them. And
Yeah.
it's just amazing. This is the things you're telling me. I'm soaking it in. So I'm learning. I'm really, really learning. I
Mhm.
know you, but now I know you know you. But you're listening to, once again, you know who I am, MarceyLynn, on WNHHLP 103.5, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We're streaming on live Facebook /New Haven Independent, or you can go to newhavenindependent.org and hit on MarceyLynn, or once again, MarceyLynn once again. I can't even say my own show name. But I am sitting with the beautiful and talented international teaching Hanan, Hameen. And I want to ask that question. All of this that you share, you're teaching constantly. When did you start that? Like, what made you know, okay, it's time for me to start my village arts education and in general?
Mhm.
Where did you start? Like,
It was a gradual thing
mm-hmm,
because again, going back to how gifted students
mm-hmm,
are taught,
yeah,
um, because I was gifted
mm-hmm,
in school, I was always that student who was finished first, and then
go
I
to,
started talking to everybody. So, right, so I have like all A's, and then it comes to behavior, it talks too much, right?
mm-hmm,
That right. So my teachers would have me tutor my classmates.
yes,
So I was that designated student. I was that teacher's assistant, doing everything to help
mm-hmm,
the teacher and help my classmates.
teenage
And
teacher,
so, well, not even teenage.
mm-hmm,
This started in Well, I was doing it in kindergarten, and then it continued more so all the way throughout, honestly, because I was always in these positions. But when I was in junior high school, there was a student. She was there was a student in my class that I was designated to tutor. That was 8th grade.
mm-hmm,
That's when it became like this is what you're definitely doing. So that started from 8th grade, and actually in 5th grade, I choreographed the holiday show
mm-hmm,
for our school. So we had a ballet dance, a church dance, hip hop, and
mm-hmm,
so I choreographed the show.
mm-hmm,
That's when I was 10, and when I was 15, I started teaching because I had went through my rites of passage. I did a full year
yes,
program, rites of passage. Dr. John Henry Clark was one of my
mm-hmm,
mentors there, and this was started by Sister Gwen Gilliard. It was called the STARS Program,
yes,
Sojourner Truth Adolescents Rights Society,
wow,
and there's a dance component. So they always bring back one of the graduates to teach.
mm-hmm,
So when I was in 10th grade, after I graduated, and this is after I went to France. So we went to France, the dance company that I was with. We went to France to perform for a
mm-hmm,
cultural exchange. Um, and so they had me teaching at an elementary school in Harlem. Actually, the school my mother was
mm-hmm,
teaching. So after school, I had a dance program where I was teaching African dance to the students, and also teaching for the rites of passage program.
yeah,
So that's when I was 15. That's when I was 15. And then in school, because again, I told you I changed all of these schools, right? I
yes,
changed schools like almost every year.
oh,
So 9th grade, I had a super racist teacher
ooh,
who you know how bad it was. Top performing student, my chair was in the hallway.
what?
My chair was in the hallway because the teacher targeted me because she was very racist. She would say things, nobody suffered like the Irish. And again, this is why I'm going through my rites of passage. I'm coming
Oh
in with
Lord,
books. I'm
yes,
slapping books on the desk.
uh-huh,
Boom. on this page, Carter G. Woodson says, da, 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 da.
Yes.
Over here,
Mm-hmm.
Kawanda Jufu says,
Mm-hmm.
here, Amos Wilson said, like, I'm
Yes.
coming at her. Anything
Yeah.
she said, I was ready. I was
Yes.
so ready.
Yes.
And,
Life changing for her. So look,
right,
so I'm
right.
gonna
So
teach
my
you.
mother had to remove me from the school.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad it got. I had to
Yeah,
leave the
she had to
school.
remove you.
Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
the administration did nothing. Black
Yeah.
principal did nothing.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. They
Nothing,
were
right?
powerless,
Right,
considering the time
right.
frame.
And they moved this woman up in the Board of Ed. You look her up. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation.
Listen, we have
But
to have another show
we
on
can
that
go.
one. That's the way it
Listen,
works, though. That's society. That's
right. But
social
because of that
injustice.
experience,
Mm-hmm.
I believe
Mm-hmm.
everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that experience, I ended up going to Science Skills Center High School in Brooklyn because I was at A. Philip Randolph
Mm-hmm.
in Harlem. So I ended up going to Science Skills in Brooklyn,
In Brooklyn. Mm-hmm.
and it's a brand new school that was started by a Black man, by a brother,
Mm-hmm.
Michael A. Johnson, because
Yes.
he had Science Skills Inc. It was an after school program that he turned to a high school. This was in the 90s. This is when they started those new vision schools.
Yes.
So like how you see all these small schools now that have
Mm-hmm.
these different focuses,
Yeah.
that didn't exist back then. This is
Mm-hmm.
the first time they did that.
Yeah. So
So
that's the
Science Skills
beginning of
Center,
it.
yes, the beginning of it. So Science Skills Center back then,
Mm-hmm.
was a gifted and talented school for Black students.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right.
That's wonderful.
So it was a brand new school. So now
Mm-hmm.
here's the catch for me.
Mm-hmm.
I came there for 10th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
Okay.
brand new school. All they had was 9th and 10th grade. I was supposed to graduate at like 15, 16.
Uh-huh. You would have.
Because I was advanced. I
Yeah.
already completed 10th and 11th grade courses.
Mm-hmm.
Because in my junior high school, everything I did, I was always ahead of myself.
But
I was
sitting in
doing
the
college
hallway
classes.
sets back.
Right. But even then, I was
Mm-hmm.
still advancing because my
Yeah.
parents, again, like I told you, they had this other programs.
Of course.
I was doing college algebra in freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing calculus when I was in 5th grade.
Mm-hmm.
But this is outside of school in these Afrocentric programs.
Mm-hmm.
We were doing kinetic science and mathematics. We were doing all of these things outside of school.
Yep.
So I
And
was
like
very
now we have the
advanced.
charter schools that are doing the same, because
Right.
my daughter's
But
in.
these were programs. So
Mhm.
what
Yeah.
happened was in Harlem, you had the Black scholars who were doing free programs in the community.
Okay.
So we were taking these classes as a family for free.
Wonderful.
So
Wow.
but my parents took advantage of all the opportunities that they
I'm
saw.
listening, like just knowing
So
that you brought that here to New Haven. So
yeah.
we needed
But
it.
that's how I started. But this is how I started really
Yeah.
teaching because there was no dance program.
Mhm.
We were in the basement of New York City Technical College. There was no windows. We're trying
Dancing.
to do science experiments. The room temperature is just
It's
all
whatever.
wrong. Oh my god.
Was it
But,
outlets for plugs for fans? Not just,
What? What's a fan?
What's
What
a
is
fan?
that? What's that? What is that? They had on hats and gloves in the wintertime.
Yes.
It was, but we made the most of it.
Yes.
We made the most. We made the most. And so I started teaching dance because again, I already did the 10th grade.
Yes.
I already did my 10th grade classes.
Something to do.
So I repeated the 10th grade when I went to the school.
Mhm.
So I had a lot of free time, because I ended up graduating.
You probably
high school
got through the
with
10th
50
grade
credits.
halfway through. You were done already. So
I was finished when I started because I did all my 10th grade classes
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
So I started teaching dance.
Yeah.
At the school, while I was a student, 10th and 11th grade, I was the dance teacher.
That's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
And then 12th grade is when they brought a dance teacher. When they brought Mama Pat Dye.
Yes.
Back then she was just Miss Dye, but now she's Mama Patricia Dye.
Mhm.
And again, New Haven inclusion. Last year Juneteenth, she danced with me on stage for the Elder Honor.
I know.
It was me, my dance daughter Raina Pell, who's my dance captain for Keepers of the Culture, a performance arts company, and my dance mom, Mama Pat Dye. So she came, so she's still, obviously in my life and everything
Yes.
as my
That's
dance mom. But that's how I started dancing. I mean, not dancing. That's how I started teaching. That's what started my teaching career. Because once I graduated high school, Robin Williams, who was my ballet teacher at Repertory Dance Company of East Harlem, she had her school, Uptown Dance Academy.
Yes.
That was in National Black Theater at the time. They did a parade because every year they did the African American Day Parade.
Yeah,
she saw me. She was like, "I've been looking for you. Come teach at my school."
Yes.
I'm like, okay.
Okay.
So I came. I started teaching, and then I became the assistant director, and then everything just went from there. We trained thousands of students, including Kalia
I
Campbell, who's a star now at Alvin Ailey, Gabrielle Hamilton, who's a star on
amazing.
Broadway, Wade Bryant, who's a star with the stretching, using
Mm-hmm.
my stretching methodologies,
Yes.
working with celebrities and the list goes on and on and on.
Yes, it does.
But that's what started the teaching.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
teaching started there, and I was choreographing for all the CUNY colleges.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you name it, I choreograph for independent artists, major artists
Yes.
with videos, and
Mm-hmm.
And I started my own school, Miss Hanan's Dance and Beyond. But
Yes.
I also went, into the actual teaching world.
Mm-hmm.
2005, I became a teacher in the public, an actual certified
Teacher
teacher,
and yeah.
classroom teacher in the
Mm-hmm.
Board of Education.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
that was from
all this New
2005.
York culture, all these things in New York, and you come to New Haven. Why did you bless us? Why did you bless us? What made you come to us here in New Haven?
Actually, lupus brought me to New Haven.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
because
Because of
in 2010, I was diagnosed with lupus. I was
uh
still teaching in the Board
yes,
of Ed. I was tenured teacher. I
it's
was teaching at
amazing.
Brownsville Academy High School.
Mm-hmm.
I finished my first master's. Actually, it hit when I was I just finished my first year of my second master's
Oh
at
wow.
Baruch College to become a principal. I did my master's of educational leadership
Okay.
with an advanced certificate in school building leadership. So it hit when I was at my last year, and then I'm teaching. I'm teaching in the classroom. I'm in a wheelchair. I have canes. I'm in with the
Mm-hmm.
rollator. Like nothing stopped me,
No.
But then I had a heart attack scare at work. It was I was on break. The school they tried that they did everything they could to accommodate me. They put my prep and lunch together so I can have a long rest in between my
Oh
classes.
wow. That's good.
And being in the dance studio was dark. I had my mat, so I was be able to rest. So
Yes.
I'm taking my rest, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm showing it's a breath, heart palpitations, and so I called to the office. I went out on a stretcher to the ambulance, and after that, the Board of Ed, the lawyers got involved for the Board of Ed because now I'm a liability. So
Mm.
then
Yeah.
they went within 5 minutes. Oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a dance teacher. Oh, what else do you do? Well, I just finished my certification to
Yeah.
be a principal. Oh, well, if you would have got a degree in social work, click unfit to work. Five
Really?
minutes.
5 minutes.
Yep. Because I had lupus, they said I couldn't teach.
Oh wow.
They said I couldn't teach. They said I couldn't be a principal in their
Mm-mm.
system, which would lead to altercation. Because I'm like, okay, you're saying that in your system. That doesn't mean I can't.
So that's what made you start
Any,
programs. Yeah.
so right. So
Yeah.
when I came to because I had my dance school open. Miss Hanan's Dance and Beyond
Mm-hmm.
was a brick and mortar in Brooklyn. I had just opened it. I had to give people money back. I had to close the school. I was in a
Yeah.
wheelchair. I was in and out of the hospital. I thought I was never going to do any of this stuff again.
No.
Right. So like I couldn't live on my own. I had no income because
Yeah.
I wasn't teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Because of my age and my education, I kept getting denied disability. It took me 3 years to get approved for disability.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I came here in 2012, and again, I couldn't drive. I couldn't cook for myself.
Mm-hmm.
My mother would have to literally feed me. She'd have to cut my food up.
Yes.
Like it was. And it's like even now, like normally I would have had to have glasses on. I'd be in the dark because the photosensitivity was bad. I was just really going through it. I was in and out the hospital. Yeah, like I was like VIP in the
Yes.
emergency room, right?
Oh,
I roll up
jeez.
and they're like, "Hey, you back here?"
Yeah,
Like,
that's just not what you want to be, though. So
right. But
explain lupus for people that don't
explain lupus.
understand. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't understand, and I have multiple people that have it, and they all have a different explanation because it's such a different type of diagnosis.
Yes.
I call it a diagnosis.
Yes. So lupus is an autoimmune disease. Auto meaning self.
Mm-hmm.
So the body attacks itself. So I think I look at it as this is how I explain it. The immune system, right, is a bully for us. Right, because our immune system is overactive, right? It's hyperactive. It doesn't turn off. It's like can't stop, won't stop, right? It's worse than Diddy in the videos, right? And so it's like take a light switch that you turn on, and then break the piece, break the piece that you use to control it. So now it's just on,
It's
right?
stuck.
So that's what happens with our nerves, right? It's like something turned on the pain receptors it never shuts them off.
And it doesn't shut up.
So it's just in constant pain. And there's nothing going on inside. It's
Yeah.
like, you know how you get sick, the immune system kicks in, it's like, oh, boom, 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 boom. And then they go to sleep. It's like they're not going to sleep. It's just fighting everything. And it's like, yo, you hitting, like we're friends. Like, wait a minute, we on this thing.
This is me.
Like,
this
you know,
is
it's me.
Me
like,
fighting with me. Why are you fighting me?
Right. You know, so that's what happens. So the body doesn't recognize itself. And everybody is different. Some people, it attacks their organs, right? Like Nick Cannon, right? You see him with his dry walking stick. He has lupus. He has lupus nephritis. It attacks his kidneys, right? Selena Gomez, she had a kidney transplant. Trick Daddy has lupus. Seal has lupus. There's so many artists that have lupus, but it presents in different ways.
Yes.
For me, it's musculoskeletal. And that's another reason why, like you're saying, it's hard to diagnose and people describe it differently because everybody experiences it differently. And it presents different, and it mimics so many things.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, I went to the doctor. I'm telling them what I'm feeling. They tested me for COVID and flu. I'm like, I have lupus. So yes, I'm going to be in pain. Yes, I'm going to have shortness of breath. Yes. I don't have any illness. And of course, everything came back negative. Like, it's lupus. Woo-hoo,
yeah. You know? Everything comes back. Like when COVID was around, everything was COVID. So with you, yeah, it's like everything.
And I'm like, I wouldn't even know if I had it or not. I'm looking up this. It's the same thing. I've been dealing with this for
forever.
12 years. Forever.
That's a long time.
And I never had, I never.
And it's amazing because every time I see you dance or perform, I go, that's what you can do. Yeah. It's the beauty in the movement.
And that's the thing people don't realize.
How do you do everything like
perform, I'm in pain. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm like, how's she doing that?
Because Mama Taylor told me, you finished? All right, get up. That's why.
Listen, from the cry, from after the crying at 7, you were done with that. There's no more whining, complaining. And, the best part of it is the strength that you could show other people with lupus. So, it's a beautiful thing. And I just really appreciate you as a person because you are one of the people that keeps culture alive for us here in New Haven. So tell me a little bit more about your programs. I know you have other things that you want to discuss too, but I really wanted to learn more about your programs here. And then I want to learn about your programs in Senegal.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and it all ties in, right? Because like you asked what brought me here.
Yeah.
So I'm literally laying on the couch here, right? And this is like 3 weeks since I show up. And I already had the job. I interviewed. There was an opening at Neighborhood Music School, so I started teaching there. I teaching dance there, and but I'm laying on the couch, and there's gunshots. This was like in a 3-week span. My neighbor across the street, her son gets shot in the head, killed. Jesus. Around the corner, 2 other young men are killed. And then some people were setting up, I think it was the pizza delivery. They were trying to set them up to rob them, and something happened. And it was just so much happening in this area over here by Shelton and all of this stuff.
Chaos in Newville, fortunately.
So, and I'm just like, if they only knew who they were,
yes,
then they would stop. They would stop this.
Yes.
But for you to know who you are, you have to. For you to recognize and appreciate somebody else's life, you have to recognize the importance of yourself. Love yourself, and appreciate your own life. Before you can extend that outward, which is why I started Africa Is Me. Because I said if they knew who they were, if they knew they were brothers and sisters, then they would stop. They would think first before they take somebody off the planet.
Definitely.
Like we had disagreements. We used to, like I said, I was a fighter. Listen.
We fight.
I fought.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you live.
Never called it L.
You live.
I fought.
Yeah.
But you live, right? You still here. You know what I mean? That was it. Nobody's trying to wipe you out. So that's how Africa Is Me got started. And so I went to my auntie Diane, Diane Brown at the library.
Yes.
That's the library. And we started the Africa Is Me program. That was supposed to be, once a year. I was gonna do it once a year, Black History Month. When I did that first one,
that was it.
They were like, "Yeah, okay, we're not waiting next year for this."
And I'm like, "Wait a minute." She said, I made a few of them, and I was like, "Oh, I just want to be there for everyone." And to explain that program, like the event, like the agenda of whenever you had those. It's just, you just got so much in that, crammed in that little bit of time, and you brought it home with you. And I think a lot of people brought a lot of it home with them. There were people that I know didn't miss any. So explain the agenda, like what the event was.
Okay, and we definitely appreciate you, all your support and everything. Even when I had the dance program at Lincoln Bassett, you were making costumes and everything. It's great, but thank you so much for all of that and everybody who has been supporting. But
Yes.
Africa is Me is a program based on the Articulation curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
So let me explain Articulation first, because then that'll help explain the
Yes.
program.
Mm-hmm.
So Articulation is a curriculum that that I created. Is influenced heavily with Mama Pat Dye, my dance mom.
Mm-hmm.
It's based on how I was. It's basically how I was taught, right? Because like I said, I was in these gifted programs, and my parents had me in these Afrocentric programs that were arts based, STEAM based. So like for me, I didn't see any separation in the different content areas, right? So it's just the way that I see things is just different because it's just how I was taught. And so articulation is the interdisciplinary application of the arts as creative sciences combined with traditional academic subjects and culture. So there's no separation.
Yeah.
So like, for example, in African dance class with Mama Jewel or Mama Taylor, you know, Baba Chuck, Mama Pat, but, you know, with all of my teachers, you know, when you're learning African dance, it's not just a movement that you're learning.
Yes.
You're learning who are the people who did this? Where did they do this? Why did they do this? What did they wear? Why did they wear it? What was the climate? What's the environment? Like, what's the meaning? What's the history of the people? What is the language? What's the region? Like, we're learning all about the people.
And it makes the movement take character. It's kind of like, well, yes. I do Middle Eastern dance as often as I can with Kelvia. So, you know, in everything, she has a story, and it makes the movement, gives it character. Because now you know, where it came from and why it is. And I know you do that a lot. Harry's giving me the 5 minutes. She gave me 5 minutes. So we have like a couple more minutes.
Okay.
So
exactly. So with Africa is Me, that's why every activity that we do has a meaning, has a purpose. We're making keychains, we make bracelets, we make baskets, but it's not just, I made a keychain, right? There's a mathematical equation that you have to solve.
Yes.
So you know how much string you need. You have to create your patterns and plan. So you know what you want your outcome to be. So you know exactly how many beads that you need. It's all about creative thinking. It's about mathematics. It's about science, entrepreneurship. Like everything that we do is related to a theme. It's related to a cultural theme.
Yes.
And it's about students thinking for themselves, thinking creatively, thinking critically, analyzing, understanding, and having a place to also speak. Because those discussions, they last for a long time because the students, the children, they see everything that's happening, but a lot of time adults tell them a watered down version or don't tell them what's happening, and they have questions. And it's like we have to tell the youth, listen to the youth to see what their questions are, and really explain to them what is really happening, because that's what they're going to be adults, so they have to know.
Africa.
So there's a way that you say it, there's a way you explain it, so we do all of that with the Africa is Me, also teaching them about the maps, how to use a map, what it is, and the dancing, the drumming, all of that comes together. So when they come out, everybody, no matter where you're from, can have some connection to see that, Africa is me. Yes, I can relate to this other culture. I can relate, and also understand that Africa is not a country, right? It's a continent. Right?
Okay, it's a whole continent, with a whole lot of little, But tell me about Senegal. The last couple of minutes, we got about 2 minutes, so tell me about Senegal, please. Yeah.
Okay,
she's teaching, and let me interrupt you. She's teaching in Senegal. Okay, I just want to make sure you guys understand. When I say international teacher, I mean international teacher.
So what I'm doing in Senegal is cultural exchange in Senegal. I'm also writing curriculum for a school out there, and training teachers and teaching classes, working with artists. So I came out there to assess the arts and culture sectors. I came there through, articulation to do this work during the pandemic when everything shut down. I was out, okay? But But this started from the pandemic because everything was shut down. So again, when I went to Science Center High School, Mama Pat died. She's connected to Dance Africa and Brooklyn Academy of Music. When I was a senior, they just started infusing students, so I became a part of that program.
Yes.
So I've been involved with Dance Africa ever since. Every year they bring a different country. 2016, they brought Senegal. I connected to one of the dancers, Beatty Ba. We stayed in contact. During the pandemic, I started virtual classes, so that way my brothers and sisters on the continent can earn money, because we had ways to earn money here. They didn't.
Yeah.
So once everything was shut down here, I said, wait, all they need is Wi-Fi. That means all I need is Wi-Fi.
Yes.
So then I went for a month to work with them, and then I was still teaching here, and I just would go back, and I go back and forth.
Beautiful.
Trying to escape winter, even though I'm here in the winter.
I thank you so much for your time. I thank you so much for this interview. I love you. And
I love you too.
I will see you soon.
Yes.
And once again, you're listening to MarceyLynn once again on WNHH LP 103.5. New Haven Independent Community Radio. Mwah to you. Love you, love you, love you, Hanan. Dance out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.